Well, I did say I was gonna update you on every trade I take, so here we are. Um, okay, let's get into the action. So, last video, um, it was a EJ trade, but I didn't actually show you the result of it. But let me show you the result of all the EJ's trade this week. So, yeah, if we go here, we got we've got the trades all marked out. I have my markings this time, so you guys can see a little bit of what I do. Um, but yeah, no. So I've traded for 3 days in a row. London session on Euro Japanese yen. That's that's basically what's happened. But first things first. What do? I look at the news. So on Tuesday, we saw that there was going to be some important guy, from a central bank, speaking around 2 p.m. But I don't trade that time. But what that means is that there's probably going to be less volume, right? But yeah, so if we go to that day, it was a Tuesday, actually, yeah. So if we go on the daily here, I'll show you what it was showing. So that was a day, right? So what it showed, right? If I just bar replay that, so what it showed is that was yesterday. So it was Monday, right? We had Friday tap into this zone, basically reject it with this wick, and then we had Monday bullish close. That's quite the confirmation, I'd say, for a Tuesday. I was like, okay, so then not just that, we looked at the 4 hour, and it was, where is Tuesday? There's Tuesday, right? And this was the candle that was open, right? It was still printing by the time we had a retracement, and look, judging by structure, we pushing up quite bullish, right? And we had a bit of a retracement, waiting for the next leg up. So I was bullish that day. So if we go into this zone, where is Tuesday? There's Tuesday, right? So if we go on to Tuesday, what I was looking for is essentially a right. So I came to the charts. It was around here when London opened, and I trade London, right? So what happened is price pushed up, and if we go down to the smaller time frame, the 5 minute, price pushed up, and I took a buy from this zone, right? And I was targeting this zone up here, but there was a zone over here, as you can see, which is quite important. And I was like, okay, right, it's a zone, right? That's the first zone we need to tackle in order to get my profit target. And unfortunately, the whole time it didn't actually, you know, push past the zone. But that's probably because we had big man gonna speak, and there was not much volume in the market to push price to where I want it to go. So in the end, it did go up to this zone, and then it came down, which is annoying. And as soon as price went up to the zone, I went break even because I was like, okay, it's gone up to an area which could easily reverse on me. So I went to break even. Guess what happened? Trade took me out at break even, so I made zero. The very next day was a Wednesday, right? Here it is. If we look at the Wednesday news, absolutely nothing. Should be a easy day for us, right? Yeah. Well, what happened was, um, there's a candle that went onto this zone, right? There was 3 zones I marked out. There was a candle that went into this zone, shows some good rejection, so I took a buy, right? Actually, in fact, let me show you what the 4 hourly was like on the Wednesday. Yeah, so it was above this zone. It's a strong zone, that. And that's a Wednesday. I mean, again, we had Tuesday, lower wick. We're like, okay, there's going to be some upside momentum, which it did in the end, which is quite good. But yeah, and then we look at this trade, right? I took the zone here, and I targeted this zone up here. Price did go up to this zone, right? If we look left further enough, but I'm not going to go all the way back there to show you. But yeah, there was a zone here. Price went up to it. Price did indeed reject it. And as soon as I saw this massive bearish candle, I was like, all right, there's a lot of bearish momentum. I'm going to cut it quick before it hits my break even. Because I already went to break even when it hit to this zone. So yeah, even though I essentially wasn't going to lose money because I went break even, right? So the past 2 trades, I traded my stop loss to break even. It was a risk-free trade at the end of the day. But yeah, here it was a small win. About 5 pips, roughly. Yeah, 5 pips. 5 whole pips. But then what happened is, right, price did come back down to this zone, rejected it again, pushed all the way up, came down, pushed above this zone and came down to this zone, rejected it, and went all the way to my original profit target. So that was unfortunate because I did have a valid trade. Anyway, if I didn't bring it to break even, I would have actually made that trade. And I would have caught 66 pips, which is quite good. But yeah, no, there was another opportunity, but I have a trading rule where it's 1 trade per session. So since I've already taken a trade, I'm not going to take any other trade. Again, doesn't matter if there is a valid setup. I've already taken a trade. I'm not interested. I walk away. I close down the chart, so I don't even know what's happening. That would have been a nice four R to R, but better than this trade setup. Then yeah, after that we had today, which is a trade I took today. We had some news on the euro about some Spanish stuff. News came out quite negative. So what happened? If we look at it, right, it opened around 8 o'clock just here, and it just pushed straight down, right? And that can be explained by the news was quite bearish, right? So of course it pushed price down, but then price started pushing up because overall we are looking for buys. As you can see, this is today. We are above this zone. It's a strong zone, that. And we go to the 4 hour, right? This candle was like, all the way down here because the news pushed it down, but then it finished up here. And at that point, I did take profit. But we were looking at it, it was above this major zone, and it was, you see the previous 2 candles were bearish. So it was nice because, during Asia session was the retracement. So then we had London, which was the next leg up, which was quite nice. And then if I show you the actual trade, here it is. Here is the trade. So I had the zone marked out. Price, initially got pushed down by the bad news, but then it broke back above the zone. Took a buy on this rejection candle here. Pushed up, and then I was like, ooh. At this point, when price went up to this zone here, I went break even. So again, I went break even quite a lot of the time just to, limit my risk so I wouldn't lose money. So yeah, there's, quite the zone here. Broke even. And price came down. I was a little bit worried. I was like, heart beating. I was like, and then we had a strong bullish, close. And then what was annoying, what I found really annoying, right, which actually triggered me, is that price went up, hit my, take profit, came straight down. And what was annoying was that because of spreads, I didn't quite get taken out of the trade. So I was still in the trade when even though price hit my take profit, and then it just came down. And at that point, I was like, that's annoying. But as soon as this candle printed, I took my stop loss from break even all the way up underneath the zone. Because if you see, it is literally above the zone and it showed a rejection of the zone, which is another setup just like this one, where I have my stop loss underneath the zone. So it made sense to put my stop loss here. So I did. Because it's essentially another setup, which again pushed up another 40 pips. But yeah, in the end, and then the trade should have taken about 30 minutes in total. But because it didn't take me out, took another 30 minutes to come down and then back up into my take profit. So the trade in total was an hour long. And yeah, it came up to this zone and it took me out of my take profit. Just good, and it carried on. And that could have been another setup again from here to here. Just like we did. We had multiple setups on the same session, which was quite nice. But again, only one rule. Trade one trade per session. But yeah, that's the trade right there where I took a nice 40 pips home, which is quite nice. So I had a break even, a small win, and a good win. And yeah, that is essentially trading the same pair back to back 3 days in a row, same session around the same time, same concept. That's all it is. That's all it is. So yeah, uh, that's like a little trade journal for you guys. But yeah, I'll leave the link of my FX book down so you can actually see the history of the trade. So yeah, no worries, guys. Well, I'll catch you in my next trades, I guess, in a bit.